Yay, especially in this day and age, huh?
Oh, so if you guys can see us on here, we're going to give you a couple seconds to come on and make sure we're all working. And it looks like we are actually on.
Yay, especially in this day and age, huh?
Oh, so
there you go. Yeah, right. So you can share that to you. Go ahead. You can share that to you. Oh, perfect. All right. Hello, everybody. So I am Lisa Stewart, and today is Tuesday Talks. And I am super excited today for our guest for several reasons. But Shari Fitzpatrick has an amazing story. And better yet, I love how God gets in the middle of stuff. So a little bit about last month, I'm going through and I've just been praying. I'm working on some events and some talking things that we're going to do, speaking things, some retreats, and also Tuesday Talk people. And I hadn't even seen Shari's postings in a while. And seriously, right after I prayed about this, I'm scrolling through Facebook, and who do I see? Shari Fitzpatrick in a little blurb about how she does speaking engagements and that. And I'm like, huh. So I snapshotted it, I kept it, and then I later reached out and said, okay, Shari, tell me about what you're doing. So if you guys love chocolate, who loves chocolate, put a 1 in the chat, because you know me, I love giveaways. I love chocolate. I love strawberries. I love wine. I love it all. And Shari's got it. So put a 1 in the chat if you guys love chocolate. If you love chocolate covered strawberries, if you have a strawberry emoji, find that and put that in the chat. But Shari, welcome.
Hi.
Thank you so much. And I love your little background. You're all sparkly and got your strawberries going and glowing.
Yeah, those are strawberry seeds. Those are actually strawberry seeds close up.
I love it. Wow. So Shari, let's talk about the reason I did want you to come. And I'm all about women empowering women that have overcame some adversities in their life, women that come out, you know what, we work hard and sometimes life doesn't go the way we want or the way we expect.
Right.
And it's what we do with it. And I love your story. So can you just start off by tell everyone your story?
Yeah, well, you know, I'm a Klamath girl, and you know how it is to be a Klamath girl. I was born and raised in Klamath Falls, Oregon, 4th generation. My dad always had a big garden, which included a strawberry patch for me. And that's where my love affair with strawberries began. And after I graduated from high school, you know, I graduated from KU, same high school my grandmother graduated from, and all my aunts and uncles and parents, and didn't know what I wanted to do, you know, with my life. And I feel like I was destined to work with strawberries. I went to college for a couple of years, and I was raised by a stepfather that his mantra was kind of work hard but play hard. And I wanted to continue on that kind of lifestyle as I was growing up. So my stepbrother down in Los Angeles offered me a job to come to LA and work for his mortgage company. And it was in the 80s, and I always wanted to be a California girl, you know, so I could pack fast enough. And I moved to LA, was 20, and I was a mortgage broker there and grew up really quick. And after 4.5 years, I was a little homesick and wanted to get a little closer to home. So I moved to Reno, Nevada, and actually became a stockbroker. But in Los Angeles, my sister-in-law, Emily, is this amazing cook, and she introduced me to the concept of dipping my beloved strawberries in chocolate. And so I used chocolate and strawberry gift baskets as a way to market myself as a mortgage agent in LA. And it was great. I'd bring in these chocolate dipped strawberries, and they were happy, and they'd give me business, and I was happy, and take care of their mortgage loans. And so when I moved to Reno, Nevada, get a little closer to home, and I became a stockbroker there. Got my Series 6 and 7. I thought you had to have like a prestigious job title to be what, at that point in my life, I thought the definition of success was. And anyways, missed Klamath Fall, Sacramento, and my boyfriend from Klamath, when I lived in LA, he had moved to Sacramento. And so I decided Sacramento would be a perfect place for me to take my berry hobby and turn it into a business. Because I think if you can combine what you love to do and figure out a way to make money at it, that's truly key to success, because, you know, you doesn't feel like you're at work. So I literally started from the ground up. I'm a classic entrepreneur without any education or experience. I took my hobby and passion and turned it into profits, got with a $1,500 cash advance on a credit card, you know. So when my business was in its 4th year, I married that high school sweetheart. And if Clay was here with me today, he'd tell you I was stalking him. But we started our family right away. And I started strawberries in my living room, you know, and I really had my work cut out for me, because nobody had ever given chocolate strawberries as a gift before. It was always just a confection, you know, and marketed my strawberries like, you know, they look like flowers, you know, like we're like a florist, and we ship and send all of that out. So anyways, when my business was in its 10th year, the internet was brand new. And my business was booming. I had 3 stores and a factory and 2 little boys, and a 3rd one on the way. And it was really overwhelming. And I was so excited when I was approached by a young entrepreneurial lawyer, but tech-minded. You know, the internet was new and I wanted to take advantage of it, but I didn't know anything about it. You know, I was a berry dipper that didn't mind being creative and working hard. And so anyways, I was offered a deal of a lifetime. You know, bring in investors and raise millions of dollars and launch the brand nationwide online. And I was all in. I was so grateful to have a partner, you know, but it took me about a year to realize that I had, you know, trusted the wrong person. And so it turned out I had, you know, agreed to a really bad business deal. And I didn't, you know, ever take any business classes to understand what the 51% rule was. And so anyways, after 10 more years, when the business was in its 21st year, I had lost control of the company, because, you know, we had the tech era and things were devalued, and the company was sold off to San Diego-based ProFlowers, you know, for pennies on the dollar. And my company was gone. And it was tough. It was, you know, the hardest time in my whole life. And you have these 3 little boys to raise. And, you know, I mean, I grieved the loss of my company like I had lost one of my boys, you know.
Yeah,
you know, I kind of birthed it.
I was going to say, you birthed it, you
named it.
It was your identity.
Yeah. I mean, it was the hardest time in my life. And I really didn't even know how I would, you know, survive it. And through it all, I came to understand that dipping strawberries in chocolate was not who I was. It was just what I did. And, you know, disappointments in our life and difficult times are unavoidable. I mean, you talked about adversity. I mean, we think we have control and we can tell God how we think it should be, but we have so little control. But discouragement is a choice.
Yes.
Okay. And I came to learn that God is so much more interested in my character than my comfort. And we become the strongest, and our character is built. And we learn the most from mistakes and during the difficult times in our life. Period. You know, I mean, it doesn't.
Yes.
When things are going smooth and easy, you don't have a care in the world, you don't learn anything.
No.
But I just thought,
everything's going so good, we don't rely on God, because we
don't need him.
Yeah.
We don't need him. But when we're on our knees, we're in the trenches and we have fear, we just have to anchor onto that. And I grew up in the Catholic Church, and I believed in God and Jesus, and I became a Christian when my family was really young. And I was so grateful because I learned the importance of my priorities in the right order and to know what's really important. And my pastor one time, he told me, Shari, I've never heard anybody on their deathbed ever saying they wish they'd spent more time at the office, you know, and I never, ever forgot about that. And I think it was the key to success early in my business that I have my priorities in the right order. My faith always came first, then my family, and then work. We have our whole life. You know, this is for the young moms out there that, you know, you're juggling and you're stuck at home with your kids right now and you're going nuts. I mean, just take advantage of what's in front of you and you know, just have your priorities in the right order, because that is really the key to success. But still, I didn't understand how God could I ever find beauty from this brokenness, you know? And during this time, I had read an article. This woman had done research on successful entrepreneurs and business women and people in our country. And what she found was that there was a common denominator that isn't really obvious sometimes. And that is a majority of all successful entrepreneurs have their biggest success right after their biggest failure. So that was proof to me that entrepreneurs, you know, we're just not quitters.
Yeah.
You don't have a choice. I mean, entrepreneurs aren't something that you become, it's something that you are. You were born that way, you know, and you just have to learn to starve your fears and to feed your faith. Mm-hmm. And I also, I saw this on Facebook, so I'm not going to plagiarize it. It's not mine, but I loved it. It says, not all storms come to disrupt your life. Some come to clear your path. You know, and again, our characters built, and you know, we learn the most during the difficult times in our life. And after my company was sold, I got a book deal. And I always thought I'd write a book someday. And I got a traditional book deal with Pelican Publishing, and they published it in hardcover. It was in every Barnes & Noble overnight nationwide. And I went on a speaking tour, and I started taking my speaking more seriously. Hello. And yeah, so anyways, Buried in Chocolate is my story, is a dozen chapters. And each chapter is a lesson that I learned. So no sour grapes, but you know, you just got to keep on moving on. And so after my book was published, and of course my book's dipped in chocolate too. It's trademarked, the first book in the world of calories. And I realized that all those horrible years when I was losing my company and having to work, you know, for 10 years with these people that were chipping away at me. And, you know, I wear my heart on my sleeve, and it was really, really hard. And, but, you know, I look back at that, and I was in the boardroom instead of the inventing room. And I wasn't being honest with myself, and I had to just let it go and walk away from it. And I didn't know how I would survive that, but it was part of, you know, it's like scripture talks about going through the fire instead of going around it. When you go through the fire, you come out, you know, shiny and gold and all of that. And the serenity prayer that a lot of us know, and the second, it's actually 4 paragraphs, and it's in my book right in the very middle, right after the pictures, like 2 pages is serenity prayer. And it says to accept hardship as the pathway to peace. And that's really hard to understand unless you're familiar with and you trust God's word. Yeah. So anyway,
so, having your own company to losing that company,
mm-hmm.
to having a book deal and starting to speak, what was next for Shari?
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, I decided I had to respond rightly to what God allowed in my life. And I learned a lot about forgiveness. And I also learned this really awesome little riddle about unforgiveness. And that's unforgiveness does more harm to the vessel in which it is stored than the object on which it is poured. You have to forgive in order to heal and to move on. You have to. Mm-hmm. And so anyways, I had to figure out, now what am I going to do? I got to follow my own advice. What else do I like to do? So we live up in the country. Clay and I are going to have our 28th year anniversary here in a couple weeks. Tell everybody it feels like 30. But I married the funny guy. You know, about what time you want to kill him, he makes you laugh, and that gets you through. And we've got our 3 sons, so I've got 4 of him, so God is good. But we have this beautiful property up here in the Fairplay wine region, and it's we've been here 17 years. It was really a blessing and a crazy story. I traded this house for our house in Sacramento with these people, and anyways, it's just perfect. We raised our boys here, but now they're grown and off doing their own dreams, and it's like, Well, it doesn't feel like a good use of an asset that God's given me. And so I've always wanted to have a bed and breakfast. So my mom encouraged me and inspired me to, just like I thought I'd write a book someday when I was old and in my wheelchair and had the end of my story. And, I ended up doing it now. And then I had another dream to have a B&B. God's given me the gift of, I love being, hospitality and hospitable. And then my spiritual gift of exhortation. I want to be in charge and tell everybody what to do and make things perfect as I can. And everybody comes up and has a great time. We've got 10 beautiful acres that goes along the cliffs over the North Fork that consume this river. We're surrounded by wineries and vineyards and alpaca farms. And it's the Fair Play wine appellation. And it's really a destination location. We're just an hour below South Shore Lake Tahoe and just an hour above Sacramento, just 20 minutes off the freeway. And you feel like you're in Italy for the weekend. And so we've got Bed and Berries, and it's a B&B.
We'll put the link will be in here because I know everybody is going to say, now wait, what was that? Because
yes,
you guys are want to go visit this place as soon as we can start traveling and going somewhere.
Yes, start booking early because we're going to be booked out.
Yes.
It's so full of serenity and private and quiet, and it rocks. But it's our berries are in my wine. We have our own wine label, and it's dipped in chocolate too. You can wake up the caviar and hangover at the same time. And so you're served our wine and our strawberries, and we're your concierge. We make sure you have the most awesome time while you're here.
And
It's like how Napa used to be. It's very intimate. The winemakers, owners are the ones usually behind the counter, complimentary pouring beautiful award-winning big bold reds, Barberas and Zins, and beautiful Tuscan style blends.
all right, ladies, who needs a little getaway?
It's trademarked a sweet retreat.
I love that.
Yes.
It's called Bed and Berries. I love that. Bedandberries.com.
Bed and Berries.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
again, I'll put the link in here, but you guys, I'm
Yes.
curious who wants to go check this out. And then let's talk about Boys and Berries.
Yeah. So
.org.
I'm actually have the last few years, and it's a whole nother story, and I won't share a lot of it, but I became a student getting my master's degree at William Jessup University. It's where my oldest son, Paxton, has his degree in psychology, and I became very involved in the college over the years. It's amazing, top-rated national Christian university in Rockland, California, just north of Sacramento. And the president read my book and had me speak at chapel to the 1,000 student body and faculty. And then a couple of years later, they started a Master of Arts in Leadership, learning to lead as Christ leads at the university. And the president personally asked me to be in the program. And I was so embarrassed because I'm a berry dipper. I don't have a bachelor's degree or anything. And so they went to committee and they gave me an honorary bachelor's degree. So I had to try. So I finished 8 classes in the Master of Arts in Leadership, and the content's amazing. The first class I cried the whole time because it's all online and tech and APA format, and it was rough. But anyway, so through that, the content was amazing, and everybody in my classes were pastors or CEOs of nonprofit Christian, and so I am in love with Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. I love the Spanish culture, the Spanish language. I've spent a lot of time there. I actually lived there for 3 months and sold timeshares on the beach in between my stockbroker and berry world, and trying to figure out what to do with my life and just really quiet my soul. So anyways, I prayed hard about it, and I learned that there was families and children that live in the dump in Nueva Vallarta. And I went down on a research trip a couple of years ago, and God put me right in touch the first morning with a gal named Vera. And you can go to boysandberries.org and learn all about Vera, because I was called Little Vera all my life because my granny's name is Vera, and she was 93 when she passed away, and this Vera is 93, and they look alike. And God's put me in her life to be there to keep supporting her efforts for the last 60 years. She's from Washington State. That she's dedicated her life to helping these families, and it's amazing. So anyway, she introduced me to Tina at Casa Connor, and Casa Connor takes disabled and poor children that live near the dump or at the dump or near the dump, and they take care of them all week long. They feed them and love them and pick them up and bring them back and teach them to walk and feed them and love on them. And so I go down there, and so when you stay at my bed and breakfast, we're letting people stay in my boys' rooms to support my boys in Mexico that don't have a room. Part of your cost goes straight to my kids in Mexico. And then also, if you're interested in mission trips and going with me, like you're doing too, I mean, it's giving me chills, like talking about God just in control of everything. It's just crazy. I'm just like, oh, yeah, it's just rocks. And if you look at my logo of my boys and berries, you'll see my kids' faces in the fruit.
I love that, because they are. So what encouragement do you have for people out there today, especially women that are, you know what, they're feeling it right now. Times are horrible. A lot of people, and I know it's even affecting your business. And
oh yeah,
what words of encouragement can you give someone today? You went through having basically your company, your baby ripped from your arms, to totally restarting over and having Buried in Chocolates, having a book deal, doing all this now. Would you go through that again to have what you have today?
Well, I think by going, there's not a choice. We didn't have a choice. You can't go back. It's like driving. You can't look in the rearview mirror because you can't go back. And it did happen. So you have to work with what you got, and then also appreciate what you have. Yeah. Don't focus on what you don't have. Don't you get the most creative when you have a tight deadline or you got a problem? Take advantage of that. I mean, things are different right now, and it's hard. I'm in the entertainment industry and in the travel industry. So I'm, from both sides. So, okay, I'm home. So I have a new chocolate business, Buried in Chocolate. Now you can get berries from me again, because people didn't realize that they weren't sending berries from Shari when they ordered Shari's berries anymore, and they're different. So you can get the original again from the first 21 years that I rented at buriedinchocolate.com. And so thought, what can I do? And so we just built a new website for my speaking at sharifitzpatrick.com. And so there's video footage of me speaking and all about what I do. And when this is over, there's going to be a lot of events and meeting plannings out there, and they want to be prepared. So, and then with, social media marketing, and, I made a new bookmark. It's like, what do chocolate girls do when they're stuck at home? I've got a little chocolate playroom back there. So I had a new bookmark made, and it's really cute. I don't know if you can see it. I'll put it behind me. And so I thought, well, why can't I chocolate dip my new bookmarks? And so we did, and they're shrink wrapped, and they're like little candy bars, but then the side is my bookmark, and they're chocolate, and we wrap them up really cute. Because I learned that at my book tables, when I do speaking events, I don't have any lower priced items for maybe people don't want to spend $35, they just want to spend $10. So just what can I do? What do I never have time to get done? Cleaning out, organizing. This is going to turn around. It's going to turn around. And you're like me, and you got a big old list and stack. So start, get to the bottom of the laundry pile, clean out the closets. We're all in the same boat. It's not your fault. You can't control it. Don't be afraid. We know how the story ends. God's going to take care of us. Trust in Him and His promises, and all of that. And I got to tell you that, and it's on my website too. My book, just wanted to be a berry dipper and have fun. And now God's given me this platform to inspire and encourage thousands of people a year to not give up. Keep on going and never give up. And I got an email one night a few years ago from this young girl back east, and turns out she's in North Carolina. I Googled her afterwards, and her name is Neat. And she, someone had given her a copy of my book to encourage her. And she wrote me this email saying that she wasn't living her life right, and someone wanted to inspire her to market her mind and not her body. And she went on to tell me how my book saved her life, and she escaped human trafficking because of it. Neat grew up loving to watch her aunt bake. And so she said my book was her business school, and she opened up a cupcake bakery. And then she went on to start winning awards. she'd give other girls a copy of my book and help them to open up their own cupcake bakery. And so it's like, okay, if my little berry story can save a girl's life or help her to encourage, I mean, it was worth it.
Yes.
You know, it was just all really worth it in the end. And so it's giving back. And so I pulled up her picture, and I wish I could pull it here. Maybe I can send you a link and you can add it. And it's on my website too. I pulled up her picture, and here's this beautiful girl with these big brown eyes. Beautiful. And I looked in her eyes, I'm like, there it is. There's my beauty. There's my beauty from my brokenness.
I love that.
There it is. And, you know, when life gives you lemons, you know, you just make the best lemonade that you can. You know, my,
and the fact that that's one life you know about. There's so many others out there. And that's what I love. And that's why I wanted you on here today, because it's like, people out here feel like they're failing right now. People feel like they're broken right now. And look what's possible, you guys. Look what is possible if you keep going, plug into people that can encourage you guys. If you have questions, I have all Shari's information on there. If you can reinvent, redo yourself and those are the people I love to surround myself with, because you do. So if you had to choose a book that has had the greatest impact in your life, that made a difference in your switch your thinking or anything like that, what would you say?
Well, you know, probably to be redundant, and, you know, my first thing that comes to my life is, you know, the over 60 of them that are compiled in the Bible, because holding on to scripture and God's promises is what's gotten me through and given me peace. And what's really important in life, the things you can't see, peace, joy, happiness, love, faith, all those things are really what is true success. And but on another note, when you asked me, said you're gonna ask, I went down and dug out of my office this book by the founder of Mary Kay Cosmetics, Mary Kay Ash. And it's all highlighted up and marked up and pages. And Mary Kay was an amazing entrepreneur years ago in the olden days, and she really had it down. And so many things as a young businesswoman, and especially a mother, I learned from this book, and it's amazing. And she helped me to make sure I have my priorities in the right order. And she's really amazing on time management. I mean, she used to time how long it took to iron a shirt or fill the dishwasher. And she timed her day to the point where she was down to the minute. And I mean, I would go nuts. I couldn't do that. But I don't know. I think about things that I learned in this book by Mary Kay all the time. And it's a classic, and it's great for women in business to balance the juggle.
So, you know what? Give a book away, and I'll do it later in the week. So people need to comment on this post. I know a lot of people have been sharing the that we.
Oh, yeah. Oh, never. Can you edit that out? My favorite book is Buried in Chocolate. That's my favorite book right there.
Yes. So this is the book we're giving away, and actually
Nice.
with a plastic cover on it, and it will be dipped in
Chocolate dip. The first book in the world with calories.
Yes.
My new trademark.
Yes. From a health coach.
Hey, it is dark chocolate.
There we go. And then also going to send someone a dozen strawberries.
Nice. And you know, the strawberries are fat-free. The chocolate dip strawberries are fat-free inside. And when you compare them to like a truffle or a cupcake that's 100% bad, mine are 75% fruit. So they're only 25% bad for you.
There you go. And they're not bad. They're just.
No. And Mother's Day's coming up in Easter. So we can still shop for you. We're shipping nationwide at buriedinchocolate.com. And I'll send you a special code for all your peeps. They can use a special code and get 20% off of everything. And cheer somebody up. And we ship FedEx overnight all around the country.
So, and right now, how awesome would it be someone sitting at home and someone receives some berries? Because everyone's home. So, you know, family are home. Grandma needs strawberries. So thank you so much for joining us. And you guys go follow Shari. Go see what she's about. Go check out her bed and breakfast. And again, go do a girl trip.
Yes, it's a sweet retreat.
Yes, and I'm all about that. So
hey, can I add something really quick? I want to give you another giveaway. We'll put up a picture of my new creation because I'm back in the inventing room, and we have a new chocolate dip grape clusters. And you can tell somebody how grateful you are, but it's the whole cluster of grapes, chocolate dip, and we'll post them right here. And I want to send one of those to somebody nationwide. And you can choose who it is.
Love it.
Someone who's grateful for what they have.
So put in the comments who you're grateful for.
Who are you grateful for? And also hashtag fruitful life.
I love that.
That's my mantra. Have a fruitful life and have your priorities in the right order and be grateful for what you have. Now, don't concentrate on what you've lost or what you don't have because it doesn't matter.
No, that's right. All right. Thank you guys so much. I'm going to stop recording here and just end for all.